The regular season ends tonight. It's senior night for Kennedy as the Eagles look to go to 4-4 for the first time since 2007. Standing in their way, the visitors, the Patriots from Minneapolis, Patrick Henry. Hello again, everybody. Josh Powers alongside our BEC-TV crew will be joined by Paul Fournier as well as this game continues. Kickoff about a half hour from now. It is senior night. You can see pick it up on our camera, but it's been raining all day here on this MEA week here at Bloomington Stadium in central Bloomington. Just a sprinkling of showers right now. The heavy stuff may have gone away. We'll keep track of it as the night goes along, but at the very least, wet field conditions for the players to have to negotiate here tonight. As promised, it is our senior night ceremony, so in short order, let's get to that. We'll send it down to public address announcer Joe Mavison and the senior night presentation here at Bloomington Stadium.
It's a special night for our Eagles team. It's senior night. We are going to introduce the senior players and their parents, beginning with Eric Johnson. Next up, we have Zach Zesh, number 4. Parents are Judy and Keith Zesh. Next up, we have Alex Lynch, number 8. Accompanying Alex tonight are Alex Lynch, Natalie Lynch, and Jim Lynch. Night for our Eagles team. It's senior night. We are going to introduce the senior players and their parents. Next up, we have number 14, Toby Samsaxi. Toby is accompanied by Mom Melissa Manning, Dad Dee Samsaxi, siblings Tasha, Tiana, and Jet.
Hey, in my IFB, I can slightly hear the pre-game.
Next up, it's number 17, Roman Hawk. Parents Becky and Todd Hawk. Next up, we have number 21, Timothy Butts Jr. Tonight is Carla. Next we have number 42, David Rivera Ulo. Mom Yari Ulo, Dad David Rivera, Sister Emily, and Brother Derek. Now introducing number 60, Antonio Torres. Parents Nubia and Javier Torres. Our next senior Eagle, number 62, Alfred Pacheco Hansen. His mother, Crystal. Next up, it's number 67, Nathan Ledoux. He's going to be escorted by Buddy and Carla Ledoux, brother Andrew. Our next senior Eagle, number 76, Danny Contreras Sanchez. Mom Leticia Sanchez, Dad Jose Contreras, brother Ramon Rubio, sister Roxana Rubio. Our next senior is number 80, Aaron Blassingame. Mom Janelle Barry Blassingame, Dad Keon Blassingame. Our next senior is number 83, Luke Doshin. Parents are Jay and Nicole Doshin. Our next senior is number 84, Christopher Martin Jr. Christopher's greeting Charisse and Chris Martin Sr. and girlfriend Alicia Stillwell. Our final senior tonight, number 85, Lee Anthony Wright Ponder. Mother LaWanda Hopkins, stepdad Drew Hopkins, sisters Layla Hopkins, Layana Wright, and LaShayla Wright. There you have it, fans. The senior class of Kennedy Football 2021. Congratulations to all our senior players, and a big, huge thank you to their parents for their support during the athletic career of their sons. Thank you so much.
So there you go, the senior night ceremony as we look forward to this one, the regular season finale here at Bloomington Stadium. Welcome inside our press box. We're here in the Crow's Nest. We were expecting some inclement weather. Paul Fournier, Josh Powers. We may have lucked out, Paul. The field's going to be wet, but in terms of rain, we thought it was going to be maybe raining all day, all through the game, as early as maybe at midday, but the rain seems to have fizzled out. We'll keep our fingers crossed, but maybe that's an element that they won't have to deal with tonight.
Yeah, and we heard from Coach Williams last night on Inside Kennedy Football. They did everything they could plan on for the rain, and obviously the rain held off, but that doesn't mean the ball's not going to be wet. It's going to be a wet field. It's really cool, too, so it's going to all play a factor tonight.
Yeah, temperatures in the low 50s by the time we start this one, about 20 minutes from now, and a big game for Kennedy. They're 3-4 right now, Paul. The last time Kennedy finished a regular season with 4 wins, 2007. So they have a big chance to take a big step forward tonight. Yeah,
a very big step forward. They got a good opponent, and Patrick Henry can't look too far past them. Obviously, they might have their eyes set on next Tuesday already, but you got to worry about tonight right now. Going 4-4 is a big step. Like you said, 2007, that was when my brother graduated high school. So it's going to be a fun game to see if they can make it to that 500 mark.
Well, in Kennedy, there's been a couple home games earlier this year that they feel like they really should have won. Those games against De La Salle and Richfield, and you're right, Paul, they don't want to let another great opportunity slip through the cracks tonight against a Patrick Henry team that has yet to win a game so far this year. And you talked about the playoffs, the next game for Kennedy next Tuesday. They know they're going to be at home already. They've got a home playoff game virtually wrapped up. It would take some sort of a computer malfunction at this point for Kennedy to not either finish number 3 or number 4. So maybe that'll take a little bit of the pressure off for them.
Yeah, it might do that. But again, you think about it, you don't want to go in with a loss. You have a great chance to win a game. You're going to get a home game, per se, over Jefferson. If somewhere down the road, Jefferson and Kennedy make it, even though it's a neutral field for both of them playing here. So it's not a game you want to look over. You want to still play this game all the way through and not have what happened on homecoming night against De La Salle happen again tonight.
Big implications for Jefferson, too. They're playing tonight, as well as Apple Valley against Irondale, another game that I know we're going to be keeping our eyes on. We'll keep you updated on how those games are progressing as this night goes along. I think the other big storyline for this one, Paul, is the head coach, Kendrick Williams, right? He coaches for Kennedy, but as a player in his high school days, played for Minneapolis Patrick Henry. So even though it's on the road here for the Patriots, a homecoming of sorts for the head coach.
Very much so. He was so excited to finally get that game on the schedule. He couldn't stop smiling, talking about it last night on Inside Kennedy Football. You know, he's graduated, I think, 1994. He did great things. That was the last time the Patrick Henry is a very powerhouse. They've kind of been in the middle of the pack in that Minneapolis conference, and now he's finally able to see what they're doing over there right now.
All right, let's talk more about the landscape here in the state of Minnesota before we dive into this matchup tonight. Let's run down the top 10 with just 1 week to go in the regular season, and what a season for Lakeville South. They've really held the number 1 spot in the poll virtually from week 1, Paul. And obviously when you're right at the top to start and you don't lose a game, you're probably still there.
Very much so. They've been a strong team all the way through, 7-0. They've had a very strong schedule. They beat Eden Prairie very handedly when they played at Lakeville South in, I think, week 2 or 3. So it's going to be a fun way to see what Lakeville South can do going into the postseason.
You see Eden Prairie rebounding from that loss, and they've had some key wins, including Shakopee, as you see in the top 10 as well. What a season for Stillwater, 7-0, one of the few undefeateds left, and that's a big matchup here this week.
Yeah, Stillwater going on the road to EP tomorrow night, so it's going to be see what happens there. I think Stillwater could, in a sense, play an upset here, even though it's a 2 and a 3 seed. They're not probably favored in that game going to Eden Prairie.
St. Thomas Academy, there you see the Cadets there at number 8. Right now they're the number 1 team in both in Section 3, which has both Jefferson and Kennedy, undefeated record. Obviously a tough out for whoever they get to face, but if you're Kennedy, that's another incentive to win this game. You hang on to that 3 spot, then you don't have to play St. Thomas Academy till the championship game if you get there.
Exactly. I was looking, Hastings, the team in the number 2 seed, has played St. Thomas, has played every team but Kennedy, so Kennedy kind of has a slight advantage over Hastings if they end up playing Hastings in that second round, because they're the only team Hastings hasn't played in the regular season.
Hastings did play Kennedy last year. They beat the Eagles in that playoff game on the road for Kennedy a year ago. Could be a matchup that we'll talk more about as the night goes on. It appears that could be the semifinal matchup if Kennedy can get there. A lot of football left before then. As we look at the games last week, the Eagles on the road, they were undermanned. They were short nearly 10 players. Had to play a new quarterback, Rajon Walker. Not exactly a full complement. Their defense held them in it for a long portion of that game, but ultimately SMB pulling away in the second half, winning it 28-0. And you saw Hastings last week on BEC-TV. Goodness, they were impressive.
Very much so. They grew a lot from last year when they played Kennedy to this year. Bigger size. Jefferson was in it all the way up until about midway through the first quarter, maybe the end of the first quarter. And all of a sudden Hastings kind of broke a couple holes in Jefferson, and they just took off and never took their foot off the throttle all the way through.
Yeah, a couple big plays there. Some missed opportunities for Jefferson on one side of the field, then a blocked punt kind of helped spring things Hastings' way. They pulled away in the second half. Minneapolis North, what a season for them in dominant fashion, 52-0 over Washburn. De La Salle, how about that? Minneapolis Southwest just a couple weeks ago, they were undefeated. Kennedy beat them on their home field, and things have taken a turn for the worse for Southwest after that.
Yeah, they did. Kennedy beats them, one touchdown game, very close all the way through, and then they get De La Salle, a couple weeks later, and we saw De La Salle come to Kennedy, and De La Salle, nobody thought that, we thought it was going to be a close game, and, De La Salle ended up coming out on top by a touchdown, I think it was, and then they go on the road, they go home to play Southwest, I believe, on De La Salle's homecoming, and Southwest is no easy task, and they handedly took down Southwest.
And then Park Center, they continue to roll in very impressive fashion, a team that Kennedy faced in week 1, but Park Center winning that one 48-6. Let's take a look at the final standings, at least conference-wise, in the Twin City Silver. One more game left overall. Now, those are overall records. Conference-wise, Kennedy, Southwest, and Richfield all share the district championship with a 2-1 record in the district. You see the overall records there. Washburn 1-6, the only 0-3 team in the district. Kennedy still has a chance to have the best overall record in the district. They need some help from Southwest, though.
Yeah, they'll need a little bit of help from Southwest, who's taking on Minneapolis South tonight. So they're rooting for Minneapolis South to pull a game out there, and then hopefully they can end up with a 4-4 record. Hopefully Richfield can also fall when they go to Breck. Breck, a very good team. They beat a team a couple weeks ago very handedly. So it's gonna be just see what happens here at the very end. So
good segue into our games this week, Paul. Let's take a look at the schedule. Of course, the game here for the Eagles on senior night. Jefferson, very tough way to finish at Chanhassen. If the Jaguars can pull it off, that would ensure that they stay number 4 in the section. Also a home game. It would be an interesting schedule next Tuesday with back-to-back games, a doubleheader. We're hoping that's the case, but if Jefferson loses, they're going to need some help from Irondale to beat Apple Valley for them to hang on to that 4 seed.
Very much so. I think, Jefferson going up against Chanhassen, I think they were number 8 in Section 5A. Whenever you play those teams, and they knew they were going to end up playing them at the end of the year before the season started, and it's always a fun battle. It's going to just kind of depend on how well Jefferson does. I think they were dealing with a little bit of an injury bug in the last game, and now I think they got a couple players healthy. It's just going to be seeing if they can get through that and beat a very talented Chanhassen team.
We pretty much know it's a Jefferson-Apple Valley rematch next week, and boy, that was a fun game a few weeks back here, but it'll just depend on whose home field it's played on in those 2 games tonight. Jefferson-Chanhassen and then Apple Valley-Irondale will determine that. See the rest of the schedule there that Paul already touched on in the district. All right, let's talk about this one, Paul. When we were talking off-air, we were talking last night, trading emails back and forth. We thought Mother Nature might play a big role in this one, so that's our key matchup, right? As we welcome back here on the pregame show, ball security versus Mother Nature was our key matchup. Now it's still going to be a wet ball, wet field at times, but they're not going to be playing in a driving monsoon, we think. So still important, but maybe not as critical as we initially thought.
Exactly. We thought it was supposed to be like monsoon weather, possible small hail when they were talking about it last night on the weather service. And the fields are going to be wet, the balls are going to be doing their best to keep those dry all the way through the game. But, Mother Nature did her damage this afternoon, early into just before about 5 o'clock when it finally finished up here in Bloomington. So we'll see how that plays out. And, each team's just got to try to control the ball there to keep the ball in their possession.
Yeah, footing going to be a definite issue as well. Field looks great behind us. We'll see how long that holds up with the wet conditions here tonight. Let's talk about some players to watch in this one. Let's start with the visitors first from Minneapolis Southwest. Now, we don't have a lot of stats on them, Paul, from what we could try to dig up, but they seem to have a quarterback that can make some plays, Devontae White Sledge. We'll see if he's the guy under center. Number 1, there he is, only a sophomore for Minneapolis, Patrick Henry, but a guy that certainly looks to be very shifty.
Very shifty. He's got, according to the Football Hub, he's got 39 passing yards, but 140 rushing yards, and we saw him on some film. He can do it all. He can run out and kind of get around, get the ball away. He does whatever he can to try to get his team a win, and he's going to be a tough task for Kennedy to get to tonight.
Newman Thomas is the other guy we're going to focus on, a two-way player for them, at least according to the limited stats there. He's a junior for them, a guy that looks to have the ball in his hands at a running back spot and then also a linebacker.
Yeah, I think he's gonna end up being a bigger asset to the Patriots tonight on defense here. Kennedy, they got a lot of great weapons, and their defense is gonna have to step up to try to take down these weapons for Kennedy.
Let's talk about the Kennedy players to watch, and obviously we've touched on a lot of these players throughout the season, Paul, so we're going to mix in some different guys, but certainly you focus on the Kennedy defense, and it's senior night, so how about one of their leaders back there, the linebacker, Alex Lynch?
Alex Lynch got 16 total tackles, 9 solo, 7 assisted. He's got an interception. He's going to have a fun game. He's always trying to make big plays wherever he can, so he'll be a fun guy to watch tonight, especially on senior night.
Another guy for Kennedy who's really come on near the end of the year because he just joined the team a few weeks ago. Luke Dozian, terrific athlete, another senior for Kennedy. Guy I think who's going to be in the Patrick Henry backfield a lot tonight.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the 3 guys that are in the backfield a lot for Kennedy getting into that Patrick Henry backfield. He's, we see him on the hockey ice. He, runs everybody over out there, and he's taking that right to the football field. He's just running right over these offensive line guys. We saw it against De La Salle. He was just able to keep pushing them back, and he was back there, I'd say at least 30% of the time trying to make a play.
All right, let's get into our keys to the game here. Paul, how about it? What's your first key?
Got protect the ball. As we talked about kind of with our key matchup, you got to keep that ball. Can't make silly plays. We saw that a couple times against De La Salle for Kennedy. Made an errant throw. That was a pick 6. They didn't have a couple good handoffs. They fumbled the ball a few times, so got to just keep that ball protected and keep that ball. Time of possession is going to be your friend tonight.
How about your second key of the game?
Your ground game. You can't really throw it too much with the wet weather, so you got to try to keep it on the ground. Keep running and pounding it. Kennedy's got a variety of backs. They don't have one, signature back right now with their main running back down, but it's going to be just fun to try to see what they can do and keep it on the ground.
Then how about number 3 as we maybe look ahead a little bit? The game's going to happen next week regardless of what happens tonight. Kennedy's seed is locked in, so they'd like to have a full complement of players next week, right?
Exactly. You got to stay healthy. It's a cool night. It's wet. Don't want to push it too hard. We heard that they were down 10 players last week. I can't tell if there was injury, sickness, whatever it was, but just trying to keep them healthy enough so that they can come in next week, next Tuesday, and take on Two Rivers and see if they can move on and keep the winning train moving in the right direction.
All right, so there you go, our keys to the game on an important night for Kennedy. They may have their section seed locked up, but a lot to accomplish here for Kennedy as Kedrick Williams goes against his former team. The Eagles trying to get their 4th win in the regular season for the first time in 14 years and do it on senior night as well. We'll take a short break. When we come back, the starting lineups and the national anthem as we work our way toward kickoff here, week 8 of the season, senior night, Kennedy and Minneapolis Patrick Henry here on BEC-TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the north end of the stadium. It is time to honor our country with the playing of our national anthem. Please stand and direct your attention to the north end. Thank you. Kennedy High School pep band under the direction of Mr. John Engebretson. All right, it's time to meet the lineups for tonight's contest. The Patriots of Patrick Henry have elected to introduce the team as a whole. So here you have them, the Patriots of Patrick Henry High School. Our Kennedy Eagles have chosen to introduce their senior squad again. Number 3, Eric Johnson. Number 4, Zach Zesch. Number 8, Alex Lynch. Number 14, Toby Samsaxi. Number 17, Roman Houck. Number 21, Timothy Butts Jr. Number 42, David Rivera Uloa. Number 60, Antonio Torres. Number 62, Alfredo Pacheco Hansen. Number 67, Nathan Ledoux. Number 76, Danny Contreras Sanchez. Number 80, Aaron Blassingame. Number 83, Luke Dozian. Number 84, Christopher Martin. And number 85, Lee Anthony Wright Ponder. The head coach for Patrick Henry is Mark Heiser. Our head coach is Kedrick Williams.
All right, week 8 about to get started here at Bloomington Stadium. Alongside our crew, alongside Paul Fournier, Josh Powers with you. An important game for Kennedy as they look to finish with at least a 500 record or better for the first time since 2007. They would do so with a win here tonight. Kennedy going to be playing a home game next week in the postseason. They're going to be the number 3 seed in the section, but they'd love to end the regular season with some good momentum with a win here tonight. Patrick Henry, they'd love to spoil the party here on senior night for Kennedy and get their first win of the year. So the Patriots come into the game with a 0-7 record. Kennedy will receive in the navy with gold trim as this kickoff will sail out of bounds. Or bounce out of bounds, I should say. Good starting field position as the flag comes up, but Kennedy will take it, I believe, where the ball goes out there at the 36-yard line.
Free kick, out of bounds, kicking team. 5 yards from the ball, went out of bounds. First down, Kennedy.
So they will move it to the 41-yard line. And good to see number 4 back as you see Zach Zesch there trotting into the huddle. The senior quarterback for Kennedy missed last week's game. He has had just a terrific year this year. 5 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions through the air. 650 yards, completion percentage of more than 50%. And he's also done some damage on the ground too. Zesch, 211 yards and 7 rushing touchdowns this year for number 4. And they also get Saeed Al-Hassani back. He's in the backfield for Kennedy, number 25. He's missed the last couple of games. Play number 1 is Al-Hassani right up the middle to the 48-yard line. Good pickup on play 1 as we welcome in our color analyst, Paul Fournier. Glad to be with you once again here, my friend.
Yes, very much so. I am a little jealous of you. You get the nice warm booth downstairs tonight. Not many times I'm jealous of you for having that booth, you know, all the way up until about this week of the season.
Or jealous of me for anything in general, but good play there for Kennedy. That's what they'd like to do all night if they can. A nice 7-yard gain on first down brings up second and short. The toss to Saeed. Trying to get to the edge, and he does! Al-Hassani down the sideline and bumped out of bounds. And that's where they mark him. It'll be inside the 40-yard line to the 38. Another 14 yards right there.
Another 14 yards. It's what Kennedy's been missing for most of the season. You know, we saw him in the season opener, then all of a sudden he had injury bug get him. He was out for, I think, almost every game all the way up until maybe a little bit of the last game. But he's a very explosive back for Kennedy. He's their number 1 back. And I think Zesch is very happy to have him back behind him.
This is just his 5th game of the season. He's rushed 42 times now for 196 yards. Back to him again for a 3rd straight time, and Al-Hassani is going to go all the way! A 38-yard touchdown! And wasn't that quick? Kennedy, 3 plays, 59 yards, 48 seconds.
And that's what they did in the season opener, or their home opener here. They just kept giving the ball off, and then they just kept running and taking it, and went all the way down to score in that first game against St. Paul Highland Park. But you see here, Alisani gets a great big hole right there, and then there's nobody behind him, in front of him to stop him, and he's got great blocks. No silly penalties like we've seen a couple times, and put 6 on the board here. And now the cursed field goal. Let's see what happens here.
You know, this end has been a nightmare for kickers for both Kennedy and Jefferson and opponents this year. Zesh with the hold, and this one is right down the middle and good.
There we go.
For David Aviles Rizzo. What a drive for Kennedy there. Welcome back, Saeed Alisani. 3 carries, 59 yards, and a tutty to begin things.
Exactly. Can't script it any better than that. And he's a junior, so he's going to be back here a whole bunch coming into the next year. So we take another look here at the kick, and kind of low. Almost looked like it was going to go to our left a little bit, but.
Yeah, and any extra point executed tonight in this wet conditions is certainly a positive for either team. Is Aviles Rizzo able to get that one? What I like best about that touchdown run, Paul, you saw the blocking downfield, linemen able to get to the second level. Good blocking downfield by the receivers to help spring that big play.
Exactly. That's what you want. You get your extra blockers down the field. Don't make any silly blocks. We saw a couple De La Salle plays where the running back or receiver gets past them and they get a block in the back. It brings them back 15 yards. So heads up play by the receivers there, and great running there by Alisani.
Aviles Rizzo to kick. It's a short kick. Up for it is Thomas Chang. And Chang up the middle. Correction, this is number 20, Romeo Lloyd.
That's Kennedy's
ball.
ball.
Lost the ball. Kennedy has it. It was stripped clean.
It looked like Lee Anthony Wright Ponder on senior night.
It was. As he hands the ball to the official. I don't know what that would be termed in basketball, if that would just be a block, Paul.
I don't know, but
that was a stuff for sure.
Yeah, he grabbed the ball right out of his arm and then just kind of spun him around, and right there it's right here. He gets spun up, he just rips it right out of his arm and says, "I'll take that one right back."
Lee Anthony Wright Ponder, like he was battling a guy for a rebound. We'll see that in a couple months.
Exactly, a couple weeks.
That's true. That season does not start in too much longer of a time. So Kennedy back on offense and a golden chance here in plus territory to really get this night off to a good start. A 2-yard gain on first down for Alisani. It was great to see Lee Anthony Wright Ponder a couple weeks ago on Inside Kennedy Football. I think he's really enjoying this senior season, giving football a try again. Making a big play there. 2nd and 8 for Zesh. Keep it on the ground, and Alisani rudely interrupted in the backfield. Number 40, Kane Davis, the sophomore, got in there, made a big stop defensively. Loss of 3, now 3rd and long. First time Kennedy's faced this. Kennedy goes 4 wide. Zesh yet to attempt a throw here in the first quarter. Could be 4 down territory for Kennedy if they get a few. Zesh to throw, quick out. Walker, ball up in the air, tipped and incomplete. Fortunate for Kennedy.
Very fortunate.
It lands with in between a couple of Patriot defenders, and Kennedy will punt. An important stop defensively right there for Patrick Henry.
Yeah, they came out. They kind of did a. Don't know if it was an intentional onside kick at the beginning that goes out of bounds. Kennedy goes down 3 plays later, gets a touchdown. Their kickoff, they lose the ball, and all their defense, who's been on the field this entire time, almost 2.5 minutes so far of this first quarter, they come out and they make a big stop here.
Christopher Martin, the punter for Kennedy. 2 return men back deep for the Patriots, standing at about their own 20-yard line. Flag as this kick. It's a nice punt from Martin. Beautiful punt, muffed! And who's on it? Patriots recover all the way back at the 3, but we're going to check the flag. This could be a very costly penalty on Kennedy here. So they may have lined up incorrectly.
It came out right as the kick happened, right before the kick happened. It looks like the initial call is on Kennedy. Let's take a listen to the official here.
Field formation, kicking team, 5 players in the backfield. 5 yards from the previous spot, remains 4th down.
So you had that punt downed at the 3-yard line after the muff. Just a beauty here from Martin.
Got the Kennedy bounce and the muff.
It's a 44-yard punt, and look, you see the return man having to backpedal there. That caused the error.
Yeah, Stearns makes a couple backpedals. Possibly a wet ball there on that kick. The snap wasn't clean either to Martin. It was kind of wobbly, so I was glad Martin was able to get that kick down and, give it another chance here.
And those return men now back at the 15, even though Kennedy's punting from further back. This punt may have been blocked, or at least tipped, to go straight up in the air. And it'll go in the books as a 5-yard penalty, Paul, but that just cost Kennedy 30 yards of field position, as instead of starting at the 3, the Patriots start at the 33.
Exactly. So a silly penalty, leads to 30 positive yards here for the Patriots. Now we're going to see this Kennedy defense, see if they can do anything, see how strong they are. One knows Patrick Henry is a 3A school, but if you look at the sidelines, the numbers on the two teams are, pretty close to the same. I think Kennedy's got a slight advantage on personnel.
So the offense for Patrick Henry for the first time. Devontae White Sledge, the quarterback, hands it off on play number 1. As going up the middle, number 9, as expected, their running back Newman Thomas. So a couple of underclassmen. You got White Sledge, a sophomore. Newman Thomas, the running back, is only a junior. So he goes for no gain.
So the future's pretty bright for the Patriots there from Patrick Henry. They got some good talent, and that's young. So see how they can play off it. And they're 0-6. They had one game that was canceled at the very beginning of the year.
White Sledge on the move, broke a tackle. And then moved back by Elijah Smith.
Elijah Smith and Enoch DeBlaca coming in to make that tackle. Kind of a slippery guy there. He slipped through 2 guys for Kennedy, and
it was a lot of running for just a 3-yard gain from White Sledge on the keeper.
That's 2 guys you normally don't get away from. Got Christopher Martin, and it looked like Rajon Walker there couldn't make that tackle.
So now 3rd and 7 for the Patriots. First offensive possession. As Kennedy leads this one in the early going. In motion, K.G. Vang. White Sledge on the move, nearly intercepted. Marquez Monroe is in the area. Pass incomplete, and a good first defensive series for Kennedy.
Very good defensive series. Kennedy, they haven't played defense yet today, and they came out and they held them. After the 5-yard penalty that ended up being essentially a 30-yard penalty, they came up strong here. So we'll see what Kennedy can do. But we've already seen a couple footing mishaps there on that wet grass, so we'll see how well it takes for the rest of the night.
Yeah, K.G. Vang was that man in motion, intended target of that pass. Slippery field here at Bloomington Stadium with rain pretty much all day until about, you said, Paul, 5 o'clock or so it started to die down. Here's the first punt for the Patriots, and it is not a good one. Straight up in the air and takes a backwards hop. Paul, this might be a negative punt.
If it's not negative.
It is.
And that's a live ball. That's a live ball.
Leanthony Wright
So
Ponder.
Leanthony Wright Ponder just got
going to be a touchdown. It was never ruled down or touched by anyone. And how about this first quarter from Wright Ponder? A strip for a turnover and now a touchdown. His first ever.
What a way to get the game going. You don't think of special team touchdowns coming from Leanthony Wright Ponder. That's usually a Marquez Monroe specialty.
I think about 21 of the 22 players had stopped. Number 85 kind of looks at the official like, is this okay? And yeah, go ahead. You love to see it, Paul.
Exactly. Just a heads-up play there by a senior on senior night. He's making the most of his money right now.
heads-up play.
And they're going for
from
two.
Wright Ponder. I think it was a bad snap. It might work out. Incomplete, though.
Just slightly over Avili's Rizzo's head.
Helps when your quarterback is the holder. Is that hold a little off target, but Kennedy, they kind of steal one there, Paul. They were the more heads-up team on that punt. That it ended up being a negative 2-yard punt after the backspin. But Leanthony Wright Ponder made that go a little bit further as he picked it up. Nobody else was aware. And about as easy of a touchdown as you're ever going to see.
Yeah, basically everybody for Patrick Henry had walked off the field or was already walking in that direction. I think their coach was calling him off too, it looked like, because they thought maybe there was a whistle on that. But
well, and Kennedy was backing away too. The last thing you want is to get hit with that ball, right? You're not used to a punt going straight up in the air. So everyone from Kennedy kind of scampered toward the sidelines, and that's what Wright Ponder did. And all of a sudden he kind of saw that the ball was somewhat near him, and everyone else stopped playing. He didn't.
Yeah, he played through, I think a couple of them came there, and then he just picked it up, and looked like Coach Williams was right there and just said, go. I will say, Josh, something we didn't think about earlier, but with the rain, but now there's a slight breeze coming north to the south, so kicking with Kennedy right now.
Yeah, so that wind, as we get back to our full screen view here that Paul's talking about, is moving from your left to right as you look across your screen. As you said, helping Kennedy with going this way. Kickoff here from Avila's Rizzo is going to go short and caught right at the 40. Tavion Dahl secured the catch. And that's where Patrick Henry will start. Well, they've only run 3 plays offensively, Paul, and they're down by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I think Kennedy's only run 7 plays offensively, and they got 2 touchdowns. So it's going to be an interesting game to see how tonight happens. But, right now it's in Kennedy's favor. They are a 5A school, so they should have that favoritism a little bit towards the 3A school. But again, like I said, the teams numbers-wise are about equal when you look at the 2 sidelines put together. And they're very similar in how it's kind of built with the community out there between.
Handoff Newman Thomas. Thomas to the second level, then met in the hole by Marquez Monroe, drives him back after a 3-yard gain.
Josh, you don't usually hear Marquez Monroe's name being called for the first time on the 3rd drive of the day. He's usually one of those first 2 drive guys you're hearing from.
The little bullet after his last name means he's one of the captains for Kennedy this year, only a junior. Going to get a lot of looks next year playing football at the next level. Already starting to get some. 2nd and 7 for the Patriots. So they started this drive near midfield, and the handoff, Thomas trying to go up the middle and nowhere to go. In to make the stop, Juan Rivera Aloa, number 42.
Yeah, he comes in, makes the big tackle there. It looked like it was kind of a misdirection between KG Vang and Thomas, because Vang kind of took a fake handoff. As you watch here, right there, kind of takes the fake handoff, and then Thomas takes it. Kennedy smells that from a mile away and got him right there.
Yeah, you really like how you saw Rivera Aloa there really accelerate into the hole and meet Thomas, and then you also had Michael Winston coming off a block to help out as well. Good team defense leads to a 3rd and 8. White Sledge, quarterback keeper up the middle, and trying to break the tackle of Marquez Monroe and can't do it. Out to the 48, it's only a 5-yard gain. They needed 8, so an interesting decision right now for Mark Heiser, the head coach for Minneapolis Patrick Henry, as we have a Patriot down on the field right now.
It's not good. It looks like it might be their quarterback. White Sledge. The way he kind of came down, Monroe kind of jumped on him and then kind of dragged him down to get him to stop running. Then he came up limping. So hopefully he can go off for a play or 2 and then come right back out. You don't want to see him go down. A great player like Sledge over there on the Patriots sideline, they need him. They're going to need him tonight.
So may have helped make the decision here for Heisler without their quarterback. A much riskier proposition here on 4th and 3. Remember, the first punt, though, went negative and was scooped up and scored for a touchdown by Kennedy. So I guess if you're going to bank on negative punts, why not go for it here?
Exactly.
We'll see.
And you're kicking into the wind right now, too, so it doesn't help you out with that one either.
They will line up to go for it. It's a short 3 yards. Actually, officially, they're going to call it 4th and 2. The new quarterback is, I believe, KG Vang. He'll keep it on 4th and short and have the first down. Then get clobbered at the Kennedy 45-yard line, but a nice piece of running from KG Vang to get 7 yards and pick up a 4th down conversion.
Very much so. KG Vang, not listed as a quarterback here. He's listed as just a running back and linebacker. Their other quarterback is listed as a freshman, but yeah, you get heads-up play there. You know, a guy like him, you can put him in as a wildcat, and you go from there. And so I thought, so maybe that's their thought is we'll just run this wildcat style offense here. We got to keep it on the ground.
Handoff Thomas. Not a bad first down carry to the 41-yard line. He'll pick up 4. Right now, Kennedy, you have to be expecting run here. If you're the Eagles with that backup quarterback, KG Vang in.
Yeah, see, handoff right there. Gets up the middle, breaks a couple blocks, gets tripped up there at the end.
Right ponder coming in. Look at Michael Winston doing his fastest sprint to make sure he was off the sideline in time. Handoff again, Thomas. Right side has some running room. And spun down, but he picked up a first down to the 34-yard line, so the Patriots have something going on this drive now.
Yeah, they got something going. I think they kind of finally found that slight hole in Kennedy's defense where they're able to keep breaking it and keep going at it.
Again, doing it without Devontae White-Sledge, who is injured just a couple plays ago before that 4th down conversion. Patrick Henry on the move at the Kennedy 34-yard line. Thomas again. Still on his feet, finally spun down by Deshaun Bostic after a pickup of about 4 yards to the 29-yard line.
Deshaun Bostic on that last run, the one before this, was the guy who threw a massive shoulder to stop him there. And again, he's just doing a great job of wrapping him up and taking him right to the ground and not, helping him push forward or turning him and spinning him forward like some defenders do.
He's another young guy Coach K talked about on Tuesday with us on Inside Kennedy Football. An experienced Kennedy team, but only 13 seniors. A lot of underclassmen, including Bostic. 2nd and 6. High snap, Vang has it. He's going to throw deep down the sideline, and it's underthrown and incomplete.
That looked like it was caught from up here, Josh.
Jalen Stearns thought so as he looks toward the official.
Because he looked like he turned and got his arms underneath it. I'm not going to disagree with the officials. He's got a much better vantage point than me, but Vang's first throw there, a little wobbly, comes back, and hard to tell there.
I don't know how you would.
I don't know if there's enough video evidence even to overturn it if you were to watch it live. See it come down, and
again, he turns his back right to where the official is right there. I don't know how. That's a tough call. Fortunately, Kennedy gets the call to go its way that time.
And again, the footing on the ground there, he slipped on that when he tried to come back.
3rd and 6. Vang keeper broke one tackle, but not the second. Aloa's got him after only a gain of a yard, so now 4th and 5 coming up.
This is 4-down territory, especially with the way this drive's been going for the Patriots. I'd go for it,
I mean, yeah, they're not going to punt from inside the 30, and based on their first punt, Paul, I don't think a 47-yard field goal is into the wind.
Yeah,
is a viable option at this point.
Yeah, so I mean, even if you don't get it, it's essentially a punt. You start Kennedy there on the 30.
They need to take it inside the 25-yard line. Swing pass is open to Thomas. Can he break a tackle? He can. He didn't break the tackle, but he dodged the tackle attempt from Rajon Walker and picked up 7 yards. They needed 6, and it's a Patrick Henry first down.
They took a play right out of that De La Salle playbook, the quick wide receiver screen. Got it out there and let his wide receiver just do all the work there. He only got the 7 yards he needed to get the first down.
So this impressive drive from the visitors will continue.
So right there he makes Rajon Walker slip. And then a couple guys come in to make the tackle there, so it doesn't end up being too much Luke Dojinen on it.
This is exactly what the visitors need, as their defense was out on the field for a couple quick series in a row. And now it's Vang leading him down the field. He'll hand it off to Thomas. Lost the ball. Picked up by Thomas. Rajon Walker gets a TFL loss of 3 back to the 25-yard line.
I think Thomas would rather take a loss of 3 than a loss of possession there, because there was a few Eagles there ready to pick it up, and he just kind of pulled it right back up to himself. Kind of got lucky too that he didn't that the ball kind of bounced the way it did. So it bounced away from the feet, and he was able to come out and just jump on it. Because I think if it was down by the feet, it was going to be kind of a whoever can get to it first.
It would have really been a scrum at that point. So 2nd and 13. Patrick Henry behind the sticks, and now Vang under pressure and roped down. Christopher Martin just swung him like a rag doll for the sack.
And Chris Martin is not getting up. That's not good. You need Chris Martin to not be injured in this game.
Officials timeout for an injured defensive player.
I thought that official there was going to call him for roughing the passer with the way he got thrown down.
Or a horse collar would be the two options you maybe could have called there. But you're Martin, you're kind of reaching down. You're not really behind him. It would be an awkward call for a horse collar. But yeah, you're right. You don't let defensive players in the touch NFL quarterbacks like that, Paul.
Yeah, because he got back there and then could have gone for the horse collar. He grabbed him at the nameplate on where the nameplate would be, and just threw him down.
That is savage right there. Good thing Vang popped up quickly.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, 3rd and 24.
I would still be on the ground.
Now a flag. This could be unsportsmanlike on Patrick Henry. And I don't
like conduct. Henry's coach.
I don't.
Dead ball fouls 15 yards from the previous spot. His first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game.
And they didn't specify who, but if it's on the head coach, Mark Heisler, I don't blame him. I mean, certainly, you just saw it there. Whatever level, high school, college, they don't let quarterbacks just be thrown to the ground like that. Yeah. They'll hit you for an unsportsmanlike. Wasn't called in that instance. Maybe could have.
Yep.
But, let's give Martin the benefit of the doubt, too. It's not often you're going up against a quarterback, and Vang, who's, Paul, 130, 140 pounds maybe
something
at most.
Something like that. Soaking wet.
So you're trying to get a guy to the ground, and maybe you don't realize you're picking him up like that as it happens in real time.
Yeah.
But certainly when you look back at that play, don't blame the Patrick Henry sideline for being upset that a penalty wasn't called there.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I think Heiser was fine taking that 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty. They did specify it was on the coach. So, and I mean, I think the official was still struck too on the fact that he got thrown down like that. Because he went to reach for his flag, it looked like, and I think he looked for somebody else to help him out, and I think he ended up just not throwing the flag there. But for Kennedy, you hope that Chris Martin is fine because,
ironically, it was Martin who was hurt on that play and not the quarterback, Vang. You're right. That is a player they can ill afford to not have against in the playoffs, especially if they get to that second game against Hastings.
Exactly. It looks like they're taping up his ankle, and, I mean, with the way the ground is wet, he could have just, when he spun him and stepped wrong.
3rd and 24, they go a little slip screen. Jalen Stearns 3rd and 38 after the penalty. Stearns will get a few of it back, but nowhere near the first down.
See if the wind can help him out on this punt here, or if they're going to just go for it.
They're going to send out some fresh bodies that appear to be a special teams unit. Kennedy gladly giving up the 8 yards there.
Yeah, that's something that, looked like Patrick Kennedy took out of the De La Salle playbook, those short wide receiver screens. The wide receivers for De La Salle kept getting a whole bunch of yardage, and Kennedy seems to have locked down on that.
Marquez Monroe standing at the 10. The first punt went -2 yards and was returned for a touchdown. This one much better, as it'll take a bounce and go out of bounds inside the 10. They mark it at the 8-yard line, so a 32-yard punt, no return. That's more like it for the Patriots special teams.
That's what they're going to like, and this Kennedy offense has been off the field for about 8 minutes of game time, so it's going to be interesting to see how well they get back to it.
That was a long drive for Patrick Henry, and then you had the mishap on the fumble, and then the sack, and then the penalty, and all of a sudden they were on their side of the field in the blink of an eye.
Exactly.
So Kennedy ball for the 3rd time here in the first half. Marquez Monroe, you see, has joined the backfield behind Alisani. And Kennedy will get to move forward, it appears, 5 yards.
Encroachment, defense, number 40. 5 yards from the previous spot, remains first down.
And we'll see about Martin. I'd be very surprised, Paul, given the way that this game has started out already, if we see him again.
Yeah.
Especially an ankle injury. That's the kind of injury that is easy to re-aggravate.
Yeah. I think if anything, they might put him in maybe for a couple plays here and there, just to see if he can still handle it.
Handoff is Marquez. Look out! Marquez Monroe! He's loose! Might need a block. Or maybe not as he accelerates. Monroe! 87-yard Kennedy touchdown!
Kennedy needs to get his defense a little bit of a break here. They just were out there for 8 minutes, and they come out and score in about 20 seconds here. But a great run there by Monroe. Just gets to the outside and just has a little bit more steam than Romeo Lloyd.
Well, we talked to Coach Kedrick Williams after he returned that kickoff for a touchdown against Southwest about what kind of speed he tells college coaches Monroe has, and he said he has football speed. And what I mean by that is exactly what you saw in that run, Paul. Just enough speed to take things the distance, right? He's not going to run a 4.2 or a 4.3, but he's got speed with shoulder pads, helmets, and all the other equipment on to get behind defenders. And you saw him accelerate there when he needed to be able to get that touchdown.
Exactly. And, when they run that 4.2, 4.3 or whatever, it's, no pads. He can do that, and he's very shifty. So, he can stop on a dime and juke out a defender if he needs to, which you don't see in a 4.2 or 4.3. We got a flag
go
already.
for 2, or at least they line up to go for 2.
Offense, number 4. 5 yards from the previous spot. Point for try.
So we'll see if they still want to go for 2 after the 5-yard penalty.
Chris Martin's going out to the field, it looks like, and he's standing behind Coach Williams right now.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. You've already tacked on another touchdown. And again, he's going to jog out there. Your third key to the game, Paul, is stay healthy, right? In this game. So they will still go for 2. Alisani is the back. End around. Rajon Walker needs to make one man miss, and he does. Kennedy gets the 2-point conversion. Just straight speed right there, Paul, for Rajon Walker. Kennedy schemed that up, so it was a one-on-one battle, and number 5 is going to win a lot of the time when it's a one-on-one battle.
Exactly. He's like Monroe. He's very shifty. He's fast. He can get around whoever he needs to, and he's a name we haven't called yet. We see here on the replay there, he takes that snap, takes it to the right side there, and as one defender, he's able to kind of shuffle step him and get through that tackle and not get tripped up, and here you go. Puts it on the board for 2.
So Kennedy 21-0 now as we're just underway second quarter. Another look, Paul. Marquez Monroe, first touch of the game, he goes 87.
Yeah, he takes a touch, and I don't know if he was even touched. Oh, he was right there. That was the first time he got touched. And then he gets tripped up.
Thought he was going to get caught there, and then he takes a little bit of a stutter step, and that provided the necessary separation.
Exactly. And I think he kind of did that stutter step to see if maybe that defender was just going to blow in front of him. And that defender, very heads-up play there by Romeo Lloyd to not just go in front of him and stay right behind him, stride for stride, all the way up to the very end.
Villas Rizzo kick. They let it bounce. It's grabbed at the 20-yard line. And the return.
It's not what you want for Kennedy.
Zaire Jennings out to near midfield. So good starting field position for Minneapolis Patrick Henry. We'll see if their quarterback, White Sledge, is able to come back in or not in this series.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, for Kennedy there, that return is, you don't want to see that given up right away. You just had an explosive play, and then you don't want to give up another one to the other team right away.
Kennedy trying to improve to 4-4. It'd be the first time they finished a regular season with a 500 record or better since 2007. And a good start in that endeavor.
A very good start, 21-0, just beginning the second quarter here, and it looks like Kennedy has their head set on this game.
Patrick Henry, their first charge, timeout of the half.
And, they're not looking too far ahead. They have this game ready to go. We saw with that De La Salle game, they had the target on their back in that game, and they could have won that game. They make a couple of small plays, small errors. They come out on the downside of that on homecoming night. It looks like Coach Williams, let them know about that and got them ready to go for this game.
Patrick Henry takes a timeout there first. We've got a few more senior spotlights to do as we work our way through the Kennedy roster. And there's Eric Johnson, number 3, the running back. One of the seniors for Kennedy. Critical running back for them this year. Playing well for Kennedy this year. We've seen him on special teams at times. Seen him run the ball out of the backfield. 44 carries, 196 yards in the ground this season for Johnson.
That's
right there with Coach K.
Yeah, the one thing tonight, he's not playing tonight. He's one of those injured Eagles.
First play of the drive, Newman Thomas able to get to the second level into Kennedy territory. Alex Lynch brought him down at the Eagle 48-yard line for a gain of 5. First tackle for Alex Lynch, one of the guys we spotlighted as a Kennedy senior in this one. 8th carry already for Newman Thomas in this game. 20 yards total, so Kennedy will certainly take that yard per carry average of less, or just over 2 the remainder of this game.
Kennedy on the year has only given up about 5 yards a rush.
White Sledge is back in there, and this is going to be a false start. Patrick Henry guilty.
Dead ball foul. False start. Offense, number 13. 5 yards from the previous spot, remains second down.
4th penalty on the Patriots here in the first half. So good to see Devontae White Sledge back in there after he was shaken up on the previous drive. Only a sophomore for them. A lot of talent.
Quick score update, Jefferson and Chanhassen leading 21-0.
White Sledge, nowhere to go. Enoch DeBlocka in there. Good push up the middle there by Kennedy. They had that running lane blocked, and White Sledge had to stutter step and couldn't go anywhere.
And that's how Kennedy does it. When they get their defense, they get a couple guys there on these runs, and that's how they've been doing it all day. But then they get a whole bunch of people lined up there and can make a couple big tackles.
Correction, that was Alex Lynch. My apologies, 8 instead of 6 for Kennedy. Loss of a yard. 3rd and 11. White Sledge just one pass attempt so far. KG Vang goes in as a slot receiver. Remember, he was the quarterback on the last drive. Newman Thomas handoff and spun down. Roman Hauk. Solo tackle. Big play on 3rd down for Kennedy.
Big play. Comes up big everywhere. He's been doing that all game and all season. He's not a big defensive line guy that you're going to hear called a lot, but whenever he has the opportunity to make a big play and make a big stop, he will, and does it right there. He just wraps him up and takes him right to the ground.
Love that takedown by Hauk. Using all of that frame. Bring down the running back for no gain. Now 4th and 11. Special teams has been kind to Kennedy so far in this one. Will it continue? This is another high, short punt. Lands at the 40, takes a sideways bounce into the Kennedy bench. And they'll start at the 37-yard line. So a 17-yard punt.
17-yard punt goes up, has the wind to its back, and it drops right there. And actually, at first, when I saw the coach catch it, I thought there was a player right there on the sideline that caught it. I thought, wow, that was a very bold move to do that.
So Kennedy offense, they've been explosive. They've had a 38-yard touchdown run by Saeed Al-Hassani and an 87-yard touchdown run so far by Marquez Monroe. Plenty of time before the half with 3 timeouts. Al-Hassani, right side, trying to back his way forward and does for a couple extra yards. Mark it at the 43-yard line, gain of 6 for Saeed Al-Hassani. His 6th carry of the game so far. 64 yards rushing for him already in this first half. Having a nice night. That was just Al-Hassani. Usually you see those piles being pushed forward by about 3 offensive linemen, and that was Saeed doing the work. They toss it to him on 2nd down, showing the speed. To the 2nd level into Patriot territory.
Doing his best Marquez Monroe impersonation there, but
there is a flag in the area of holding. It's at the back at the Kennedy 45-yard line. Would have been a gain of 19 yards.
Holding, offense, number 56. That 10-yard penalty enforced from the spot of the foul, remains 2nd down.
Jason Orr on that penalty.
It's a spot foul, so.
Glad you saw it basically at the just shy of the 1st down marker there, so it's just a 2nd and 11 right now.
So just a 5-yard penalty there. Or sorry, 7-yard penalty. Goes from 2nd and 4 to 2nd and 11. Zesh goes back under center. Al-Hassani. He bottle up that right side a little bit. He pushes it out to the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down from there as we head toward the midway point, 2nd quarter. Kennedy with a win. They have their first 4-game winning season since 2007.
Right now they're on the right track to do that.
They've had 2 long touchdown runs and a punt return touchdown from Lee Anthony Wright Ponder of all people. It's going to look weird in the box score, Paul, but he scooped up a shanked punt when no one else thought of it and jogged in. He could have walked into the end zone from 30 yards out. That's the scoring so far for Kennedy. Trying to convert here on 3rd and, we'll call it long, 3rd and 7. Rajon Walker end around. Met by 2. and was only able to get out to the 44-yard line. Gain of 3, but short of the first down. First carry of the game for Rajon Walker, or second carry, I should say. The first one was on that successful 2-point conversion. So Christopher Martin coming in to punt. He was shaken up earlier. Actually, they're going to go for it, Kennedy. This is surprising. Kedrick Williams now
says no.
Timeout.
Timeout, Kennedy. Their first charge, timeout of the half.
No, I think this might be your last time that we'll see this number 1 offense out here for Kennedy for the night. They might play a drive or two in the third, but, you know, if I'm Coach Williams, you know, you're up 21-0. Your defense is doing great. You know, get some of those younger guys some playing time. He talked about that on Inside Kennedy Football. You know, when he had 10 players down last week, he just got all those young guys, those, you know, freshmen and sophomores, solid varsity playing time. That's something that a lot of times you don't see in a program, and especially with a program that he's building up right now. It's something he wants to do.
All right, let's check in on another Kennedy senior as we continue our senior spotlights. He made a couple of plays already defensively in this one. Juan David Rivera Aloa, number 42. 6 feet tall, 210 pounds. Tyreek Hill is his favorite football player. Loves to eat pizza. Favorite coach of the team is Coach Hamilton. Favorite football memory and moment, he says, a muddy practice back in his freshman year. Goals for the season, get as many sacks as possible. He's going to go to St. Thomas University next year. Something interesting about Juan that you may not know is he says he's a very good cook. There we go, number 42. 4th down. Kennedy may have just gotten this first down. It was 4th and 3.
Encroachment, defense, number 42. 5 yards from the previous spot. The yards results in a first down.
So there you go. You line up to go for it. And I don't know if they would have run a play, Paul, or if they were going to just try to get them to jump off. It doesn't matter now because Patrick Henry took the bait.
I think that they exactly did that. And, you know, I think, you know, Coach Williams, you know, he likes to do things a little bit different, especially in these fun games. And you never know with Coach Williams.
Smith in motion. They give it to him on the little pop pass. Elijah makes a man miss. Picks up a block. Rajon Walker leading him down the sideline. And he's out of bounds inside the 10. We say it every week, Paul. Elijah Smith just makes plays. You don't know how he keeps doing it. There's another one right there for number 11.
Makes plays. He's not the Marquez Monroe. He's not going to be the all-time big flashy guy, but when he gets the ball in his hands, he's willing to go make a big play. You know, he does it all the way, comes right down the sideline, knows his footing. I'm glad he knows his footing, and then he gets, you know, brought out right there and gets shoved out, you know, there at the 6-yard line.
43-yard gain when they really didn't look like there was much there. He made it happen.
That football speed.
The running back is Roman Hauk. They fake it to him. Zash rolling and throws to Christopher Martin. Martin still on his feet. Going to be a couple yards short as he lunges out at the 2. And you worry about that ankle.
He's up right away. He's walking fine on it. I think Chris Martin said, hey, you know, the Anthony Wright Ponder got a touchdown. I want one too.
Might be right. 4-yard gain, first completion for Zash.
Because that looked like a very designed play just for him. You know,
I was hoping Roman Hauk was going to get the carry there, Paul.
Yeah, that would have been fun to see too.
Let's see, he still might. He's in there now as the running back here on 2nd and goal. They spotted at the 4, actually.
Which is odd because I thought it was out at the 2.
Zash wants to throw again. This side actually going to run now. A man wide open. Touchdown, Kennedy. Rajon Walker standing all by himself in the back corner of the end zone for the touchdown.
With the soccer line, it threw me off for a second. I thought he was standing out of bounds and thought, why are you throwing it to him? And, you know, heads up play there by Zash, who, you know, kind of did a couple pump fakes, kind of rolled out, was able to survey the field, because you see him right here. He's going to throw, decides not to, rolls it out, then sees Walker open in the corner.
Well, he had so much time because Walker was so wide open. Maybe said, I'm just going to get a couple yards closer before I throw this thing.
Make it a little bit safer.
4th touchdown catch of the season for Rajon Walker that leads Kennedy. And the Eagles will go for 2 again.
And you know, I don't blame him. With the way the field is wet and everything, and you're going into the wind, why not just try to for 2?
Zesh to throw for the 2, under pressure, and it's batted down.
I think that's a fumble. I think he got it dropped because there was no whistle until there.
Okay, so it may have just slipped out of his hands.
Slipped, got hit out of the hands, whatever. It wasn't good for 2.
Try not successful, but another touchdown for Kennedy. They take advantage of that offside penalty on 4th and 4 on Kennedy's own side of the field. Then on the next play, you've got Elijah Smith going 43 yards to make it 1st and goal, and Kennedy punched it in from there, Paul, now up 27-0 late here in the first half.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, again, Kennedy, I don't think Kennedy's been up this big in, you know, how many years in a game, no matter what the game is. They're usually on the other side of it.
Credit Kennedy there, Toby Somsaxy hustling in just to make sure it wasn't scooped up by Minneapolis Patrick Henry, just like Lee Anthony Wright pondered it on that punt.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't hear a whistle when he threw it. It almost looked like he went to throw it and he got hit and got pushed forward, but wasn't a throw because I don't think he completed that forward throwing motion.
Aviles Rizzo to kick off. This kick, nice catch by Jennings. Then met by 3 Eagles as he reached the 35-yard line. That's where Minneapolis Patrick Henry will start. 2 timeouts, 3:22 left. And they do get the ball to start the second half as well. So really here, if you're the visitors, almost a must score in this game.
Yeah, you gotta score here and give yourself a little bit of momentum going into the half. And you know, you haven't played a bad half. Really, I mean, a couple weird plays that have happened that are what will put you behind. But you've been in this game and you've made some really good drives.
Up the middle, Newman Thomas to the 40-yard line.
KG Vang, I thought, had the ball and
he got obliterated,
blown up there by Antonio Torres, and I think he got a little scared for a second. Because, yeah, he was going to go nowhere here on this replay. You see Vang take it, and just right there is.
Michael Winston got bear hugged there by the offensive lineman of Patrick Henry with no holding call, but only a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7. Clock under 3 minutes, first half. White Sledge from the gun, running to his left on the quarterback keeper, and taken down right away. Nice tackle again, Roman Hauk. Open field play, number 17, does the job for no gain.
Like we said, Roman Hauk, one of those guys, not the big or defensive line guy. You know, he comes up whenever he has that opportunity to make a big play, make a big tackle, do whatever he has to do, he will do it. And he does it cleanly every single time. As he reads it right, grabs him, and gets a little bit of help from a friend.
Yeah, the key thing is he didn't let him go outside. When he cut back inside, then you got Winston over there. He's able to help make that tackle.
Yeah.
So a smart play from Hauk sets up 3rd and 8. White Sledge to throw, deep shot, and it's nearly intercepted by David Aviles Rizzo, who played that about as good as you can.
Yeah. Played it just right. Throw just went just a little bit farther out of the reach, but that's the first, I think, big throw that we've seen from either team tonight. You know, gets a throw, and I don't know if that ball was maybe tipped just a little bit, but just a little too strong on that throw there on that receiver.
So Kennedy, that stops the clock with 1:46. They're going to get it back here with some time and a couple of timeouts. Marquez Monroe, and I don't know why he's that far back. Paul, he's standing at his own 20-yard line. That would be a 40-yard punt from here.
That one picked up a little bit. I mean,
Bad snap. Still bouncing around. And the Eagles have him. Cedric Haird. It was a tough snap to negotiate. He at least picked it up to avoid further damage, but now the Eagles really set up with 1:40 left right at the 20-yard line. Michael Winston again, he's had a nice first half for Kennedy.
A very good first half, a junior for Kennedy. Comes up big, sees it, then is able to get right down in there, makes a big play, as he's been doing all day today.
So now plenty of time. You had a long field, maybe Kennedy would have needed to throw, but now plenty of time to run the ball, especially with the 2 timeouts. Alasani back there with 4 wide receivers. Zesh to throw. Over the middle. Had Toby Somsaxi in the area, but it was over his head and incomplete.
Somsaxi, it looked like he also had Taylor Simmons back there as well, another junior. Malachi Taylor Simmons.
So 2nd and 10, still same 4 wide receivers. Alasani, the lone tailback.
I say they run it to the right.
I'm going to keep it in the air. Zesh bobbled it, then chucks it over the middle, and it's too high, intended for Leanthony Wright Ponder. So now 3rd and 10. I think right here, Paul, they're working on their passing game. I think the coaching staff realizes they could maybe run the ball here. Not the best thrown pass of Zesh's career as a Patrick Henry player. Down that ball, wet and slippery tonight.
Yeah.
But I think the coaching staff here just trying to work on this passing game, Paul, and try to get a little bit of rhythm before the playoffs next week.
Yeah, and, I didn't even think about that. Once you said that, it's, you're up large enough that you're not needing to keep padding the lead at all. And, throwing in high school is one of those things that, you're either really, really good at or you're decent at. And Kennedy's on that more decent side. They can make a good throw when they need to, but trying to run these plays here right now, just getting the quarterback and the receivers on the same page.
Here in blasting game here, senior spotlight. We'll get back to him after this play. Wide receiver and safety, 6 foot, 154 pounds. 3rd and 10 for Kennedy. Zesh pitches it with a flag down to Alasani. Saeed has the first down and finally bumped out of bounds inside the 10.
You got 2 flags down.
Tight rope the sideline. 1 flag is here on the near side. Another flag, I believe, on the far side of the field, closer to where that play was.
Yeah.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 players in the backfield. 5 yards from the previous spot, remains 3rd down.
5 players in the backfield here.
Back up Kennedy. Let's get back to Aaron Blasingame. His favorite football player, his cousin, Kiari Blasingame, plays for the Titans, and Marquez Buford Jr., who plays for the unfortunate Nebraska Cornhuskers, who got beat by my Gophers last Saturday. His favorite food is salmon. Favorite coach on the team, Coach Hamilton. His favorite movie, Another Life. It's on Netflix. Here's Kennedy's 3rd down play. We'll finish Blasingame here after this play. As the handoff goes to Alasani. Bounces it to the right and picks up about 13. They needed 15, clock under a minute for the half, and now 4th down. Kennedy most assuredly will go for it here. Actually, they're going to mark that closer to the 14-yard line, 4th and 4. Back to Blasingame's going to go to college next year. Major in law and minor in business is his plan. Not sure exactly where yet. And something interesting about Aaron is he wants to become a congressman in the future. So Aaron Blasingame.
Hats off to him.
4th down for Kennedy. They need the 10-yard line. Zesh to throw for it. Under pressure, who dropped the ball. And the Eagles recover. There is a flag down at the 20-yard line. This might be another illegal formation, though, on Kennedy. I believe it is, and Patrick Henry's going to take over.
Yeah, they're already moving the chains that way, so.
They'll decline this penalty.
Eagle formation, offense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play is did not make the line to gain. First down, Patrick Henry.
So Kennedy taking a shot here. Ball security, we've seen it all night.
Yep.
Especially for Zesh. Hard to get a grip on that thing sometimes.
Looks like he's wearing gloves tonight. I don't think we've seen him wear gloves all year.
He's just trying to get a little bit more grip if possible, but those gloves get wet too in addition to the ball.
Yep.
So now 7.3 for Patrick Henry. I think a final play here before the half.
Well, Josh, we've seen a lot of weird things with Kennedy games this year. We'll see what happens.
They're going to throw with 7.3 left, and that was nearly a backward pass. Stearns dropped it. There's still 3.1 seconds left. So one more snap here.
And he hit him square and
heads up there from KG Vang. We've seen that bite Patrick Henry already once this half. He goes ahead and just picks it up just to make sure.
Yeah, because I think the official that's on this near side wasn't quite sure if that was forward or backward because it was a minute. It hit him, it dropped the ball, and then it took about a second before he blew the whistle.
So final play of the half in all likelihood with Vang in motion and a keeper for White Sledge. He needs to go a long way. And that may not be the smartest thing to do if you're Kennedy. Fortunately, that hit was in bounds. So no penalty for a late hit out of bounds, and the half comes to an end. And what a half it was for Kennedy, Paul. They score in the first minute of the game. They had some long plays, a 38-yard run, an 87-yard run. They had a punt return touchdown on one of the crazier plays you'll ever see. But all in all, at the end of the first half, great stuff for Kennedy. They lead 27-0.
Yeah, great stuff. They doing everything on all sides of the ball here. You know, they doing special teams, defense, offense. You know, they're scoring points. It also looks like they're working on those little things that they got to work on here going into the playoffs. And for Kennedy, it's something that you haven't seen yet this year in a while, being up 27 points, you know, at halftime. And the one thing to note here is that all the seniors, it seems like a lot of seniors are making big plays tonight. So it's not, not the younger guys, just the older guys. It seems to be led by the seniors. They want to go out with a 500 record, you know, lock up that 3 seed going into next week, and then do whatever they can to keep winning here. And they have the way to do it.
Let's hand it down to Joe Mavison. The Kennedy Colleens out on the field. Stick around, plenty to come at halftime. We'll recap the first half stats, have some highlights for you, get you ready for the second half. Kennedy and Minneapolis Patrick Henry here on BEC-TV.
Now that is amazing. Technical difficulties, and they were able to dance to their own beat, the Kennedy Colleens. Thank you, ladies. Unbelievable. No idea. When technology works, it works great. All right, cheerleaders, are you ready? They are led by Captains Jasmine Bostic and Janasia Schuler and coached by Carrie Miller. We hope you enjoy their performance.
Be some eagles in this atmosphere, I said first. It's cold in here. There must be some eagles in this atmosphere, I said. First. That's our cry. Split that V, got that I. Roll that C-T-O-R-Y. Victory, victory, that's our cry. B-I-C, I know, right? B-I-C-T-O-R-Y, victory, victory, that's our cry. B-I-C-T-O-R-Y, victory, victory, that's our cry. That's our cry. Woo! Let's go!
Thank you, ladies.
If doctors, nurses, and grocery store clerks can wear a mask for 10 or 12-hour shifts, you can wear a mask for an hour or less when you go to the store. Do your part. Mask up, America.
Back at halftime, Kennedy with a very comfortable lead, 27-0 here on senior night. The Eagles looking to move to 4-4 to close the regular season. Be the first time Kennedy finished with a 500 record or more since 2007, and looking like a very real possibility right now. Welcome back to Bloomington Stadium alongside our crew, alongside Paul Fournier. Josh Powers with you. Paul, great first half for Kennedy. They got some contributions offensively. We saw the special teams touchdown, and certainly anytime you pitch a shutout, your defense is doing some good things too.
Exactly. They're doing everything right on all sides of the ball. They've had a couple weird, silly penalties, a couple like formation issues that they can, go back to the film and watch and figure out. But they've been doing everything very well all around, and they haven't had any big injuries, and that's something that Coach Williams is probably extremely happy about so far.
And no turnovers for Kennedy is another one of our key ball security. Yeah, they had a couple of bobbles, but no turnovers for Kennedy. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Some big explosive plays for the Eagles and fun plays paving the way. Good to see Saeed El-Hassani back, Paul. He goes 38 yards here untouched.
Yeah, 3 plays, opening drive, takes it all the way. On all 3 plays, he takes the ball, finally gets the big hole right there, gets all the way to the end zone. Someplace we haven't seen him for a while.
Here's Kennedy's special teams with a Patrick Henry kick return. Maybe the couple bright spots. They had some decent kickoff returns until LeAnthony Wright-Ponder just stripped it clean. Kennedy got the ball back, and then on the next special teams play, watch Wright-Ponder off this negative punt as it bounces back. Wright-Ponder keeps jogging. Nobody blows the whistle. He's going to pick up the thing, look around. Nobody's near him. Doesn't
even
still doesn't hear any
camera
whistles.
guy.
It's a touchdown. And then Marquez Monroe. He only touched the ball once in the first half, but it was a productive one, Paul. 87-yard touchdown.
Very much so. He got out to the outside, does it, brings it to the house. We usually hear him about special teams plays. Then they get that 2-point conversion there with Rajon Walker. And then the final touchdown right here, pretty heads-up play, runs out. And again, Walker wide open in the back of the end zone. And then they missed the 2-point conversion after that.
Patrick Henry out-snapped Kennedy offensively. They had more plays offensively. They had remember that long drive that took up most of the first quarter and even spanned into the second quarter, and they didn't get anything out of it. They had to punt at the end of that drive because of a couple of fumbles and that 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty after a sack. And
you want to call it a sack? I mean, technically that's what it was, but it was
a takedown.
A body slam, I think, is what a better term would be. And that was on their backup quarterback too, because they lost their quarterback Devontae White Sledge for a few plays.
Aviles Rizzo to kick off here to start the second half. Gets a nice boot on it over the return man's head, and they're lucky that one bounces into the end zone. They would have had to pick that up. Nice kick from Aviles Rizzo, and Patrick Henry will have to go a long way here on their first possession of the second half. And they tried to get that ground game going in the first half, Paul, but their leading rusher, Newman Thomas, all he could muster 10 carries, 23 yards.
He got 23 yards, a lot of short rushes. Kennedy was able to wrap him up right away and make those tackles. Wasn't able to get much to go on it.
Just 15 yards passing for the Patriots on 2 of 6 combined between White Sledge and KG Vang. It's White Sledge to start the second half with 2 backs, and he hands it to Newman Thomas. Maybe his best run of the half before he's spun down by Marquez Monroe, and this might be a penalty.
Yeah, it looks like going to be a face mask. He kind of got up around the neck and the head area on the tackle.
It was a 6-yard run.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 23. That 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run, first down.
Both teams now with 5 penalties in the game.
Monroe knows it, and Coach Williams is trying to yell at him and tell him, you got to drop that hand down, because right there at the very end, he reaches up, and I thought he wasn't going to throw the flag, and I thought, if I'm Coach over there for the Patriots, Coach Heiser, I might take another 15-yard penalty right there on that one, too.
Low snap, and White Sledge just has to fall on it before Lee Anthony Wright Ponder can make another big play in this game.
And Lee Anthony Wright Ponder and Chris Martin have both been in the backfield on almost every play, making big plays. And I think heads-up play there by White Sledge just to fall on. He saw what happened to KG Vang earlier. I think he was just like, nah.
Loss of 7. This is where things get tough for the visitors, these long distances. White Sledge on a keeper. Nowhere to go. It finally floats it out on a delayed screen, and then losing his edge, Newman Thomas. That'll go for another loss of a couple. Kennedy did a really good job of stringing that out as long as possible. That was a slow developing play as a result.
Yeah, very slow developing play. Just about everybody in the defense was there in the backfield. Enough people on the side, and then you see Thomas there gets the pass right there, and I think he sees maybe if I stop, I'm going to have all these blockers in front of me. And then, like we said, it's a wet grass, rain until a couple hours before the game started, and footing just even with the cleats on, just kept sliding.
You also had Elijah Smith and Lee Anthony Wright Ponder closing in on him. Another reason he may have wanted to stop what he was doing. So now 3rd and 19. Wide receiver screen to Newman Thomas. Needs to go a long way and gets tripped up at the 38-yard line, well short of the line to gain. Kennedy gives up the underneath route, now 4th down.
And they'll do that all day long as they're not giving up a first down. And kind of a almost scary situation. You watch Marquez Monroe here at the very end. Kind of, the grass is wet, slips up. He was slow to get up there, but now he's walking around fine. Again, you can't lose any of these big key players that you have right now, especially going into what will end up being a home game. against Two Rivers on Tuesday night.
Rajon Walker back deep. And now not back deep anymore. He jogs up as you see the Patrick Henry offense still on the field. They will go. Deep shot, far side, single coverage, and the catch is made.
And there's a flag there at the end, probably for pass interference. I don't know.
Jalen Stearns came down with it.
Got 2 flags. He threw his hat back by the 45.
Now that might mean Stearns stepped out of bounds.
And then the flag there at the very end, unless he lost the hat just running down the sideline. But they're pointing back there, so let's take a listen to see what the call is.
Illegal participation. Number 2 of the offense. He went out of bounds and came back in. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains 4th down.
Wow, so it was a big conversion for the Patriots, but not anymore.
That's tough.
That was on 4th and 13. I would be absolutely shocked if they went forward now on 4th and 28.
Outside, yeah, he initially goes up right away, and he runs out of bounds. He wasn't pushed out of bounds. He, on his own power, went out of bounds. I think if the defender is defending him well enough and he goes out and then comes back, you know, I think you have a little bit of leeway there. But because he went out under his own power, you get that call on you.
That must have been back toward the line of scrimmage, Paul, because where he caught that ball, that was a good 2 to 3 yards in play.
Yeah.
So now Walker back deep, joined by Marquez Monroe. Punt nearly blocked by Chris Martin. Punt takes a Kennedy bounce.
You got a flag down on the near side. And
sideline warning, Kennedy bench. There's no yardage associated with that. It'll be 1st down, Kennedy.
So the Eagles take over in Patriot territory. We'll see how long this first team offense stays out here on the field in the second half. Paul, go ahead. Sorry about that.
As I was saying, Kennedy knows all too well about these sideline warnings. With, you know, a couple games ago they've had a couple of them when they probably shouldn't have. So I didn't see anybody too far forward, but maybe they thought the guy at the back end were starting to creep in once that ball dropped and they were getting ready to go out.
Saeed Al-Hassani in the backfield, 7 carries, 68 yards in the first half. High snap, Zesh has it. He'll take off on his own and then kneel down.
I don't think he meant to kneel. I think he went to duck and then realized he wasn't going to come up without possibly hurting himself and just, you know, gave himself up there.
It's the first carry of the game for Zach. Did a nice job just to catch that snap.
I was going to say, I think this was his first carry. He's been throwing it or handing it off all day. Now that he has, Saeed L back there.
8-yard gain for Zesh, 2nd and 2. I don't know that I've ever seen a quarterback on an 8-yard gain end it with taking a knee. Usually it's a slide. Right up the middle, Al-Hassani. Big burst and a big hole to run through. Somersaulted down at the 25-yard line. Another gash of 9 yards.
Yeah, Al-Hassani coming out. When they go into that I formation, they can throw a couple running guys back there, and you got to know which one they're going to hand it off to. Usually get Monroe at the very back, and then Saeed Al-Hassani right there, and actually on the backside on this one was Roman Hauk.
Kennedy over 200 yards rushing with that carry now for the game as a team. Here's Hauk on the carry. First carry for Roman Hauk, and it's a good one of 8 yards left side. So a very nice drive developing for the Eagles. First carry of the season for Roman Hauk, as a matter of fact. As we're already nearly midway through this third quarter. First drive of the second half for the Eagles. Started off nicely. Alisani one more time. Able to fall forward. That's going to be right at the marker. Looks to be good enough. Actually going to be a half yard short where they spot it. It would be third down and less than a yard. Siren White provided a help on the tackle. Quarterback sneak for Zesh. Plenty of push for the first down. So Kennedy will move the chains. So this drive continues. Working on this clock really efficiently now for Kennedy. They'll play next Tuesday right back here at Bloomington Stadium. That'll be a 7 o'clock game. What we don't know right now is if there's going to be a 4 o'clock game involving Jefferson here at Bloomington Stadium against Apple Valley. Haven't been able to get a score update yet from Irondale. Look at Roman Hauk! Hauk stretching for the end zone! Touchdown!
What a great run there by Hauk. Just kind of keep pushing himself all the way. Finds the edge of that pylon and gets it in.
A 14-yard touchdown run for Roman Hauk. We saw Leanthony Wright Ponder get his first ever touchdown. There's Roman Hauk with his first.
Take a look here. You see Hauk get the handoff, and then he just keeps following his blockers, makes a couple guys miss, drags that last guy, and stretches just long enough for that.
Great effort. Kennedy will go for 2 again. Hauk in the backfield again. And the high snap could not be handled by Zesh. Hauk got blown up.
Hauk is only 5'6", so it took all 5'6" of him to stretch to reach that goal line.
What a moment, though, for Roman Hauk. Always seems to happen, doesn't it, Paul? On senior night, you see seniors getting into the end zone. We saw it with Leanthony Wright Ponder, and that time, Roman Hauk with his first ever touchdown.
Yeah, you know, especially in these games where the score is kind of lopsided, you start to see some of those players who don't see the ball, you don't hear about a lot, getting those big plays, and, you know, not a better night to do it on senior night. And then,
I would be surprised if we saw that Kennedy first team offense the rest of the way here, considering the score right there, 33-0 with less than 6 minutes left in the third quarter.
A quick score update from Jefferson. They are down 35-0. They are in the third quarter.
Again, they will probably need Irondale to beat Apple Valley. Haven't been able to see a score update from that one. If we find one, we'll certainly pass it along.
I have that for you after the play.
Nice kick again by Villas Rizzo. So give us the update, Paul.
Last time I checked, they were at half. Irondale was up 21-0. So Irondale is over Apple Valley. So Jefferson looks like they will end up with that 4 seed as well. I'll see if I can find a more updated score. That was when we were going into halftime when I saw that.
Good news for the Jaguars and good news for our BEC-TV viewers. If that score holds, it would certainly mean a doubleheader of playoff football here at Bloomington Stadium next Tuesday.
And we don't think that's ever happened. Both ADs at both of the schools don't think it's ever happened before. So it's history in the making here in Bloomington this year.
We'll have to rest up our voices for that one, Paul.
Yes.
Second drive of the second half, as Alex Lynch very nearly had a tackle for loss. Wright sledged it about all he could just to get back to the line of scrimmage. How about another senior spotlight here, Paul, as we're between plays?
Yeah, let's take a look. Who we have this time, Josh?
Number 62, Alfred Pacheco Hansen, the right tackle on offense. All 6'3", 205 pounds of him right there.
There he is.
Love to see Chicken on game days. His favorite coach on the team is the coach who stopped by on Tuesday for Inside Kennedy Football, his offensive line coach, Scott Etzel. Stranger Things is his favorite TV show. The second down here, pile up the middle for about a yard, and that's it. His favorite football memory and moment for Alfred was anything from Army Week. Zach Zesh is the player he most respects on the team. He's going to go to college next year like most, not sure where yet. And he loves to do art. Something interesting about Alfred Perteco Hansen on the offensive line, number 62 for the Eagles. So third down coming up now for the Minneapolis Patrick Henry Patriots. They're 0-6, Paul, but they have yet to be shut out in a game this year.
Yet to be shut out in their first game that they had was postponed and then I believe canceled. And there's a couple flags on this play.
They've scored at least 2 touchdowns in all of their games except for one. So Kennedy defense, as usual, Paul, they're going to go anywhere in the postseason. They need the D to be firing on all cylinders as we have a flag down.
That flag came from the backside away from the play, so I don't know if it was what it was.
I was thinking a hold on Jalen Stearns, who was the wide receiver over there.
And looks like a holding on that receiver.
Yeah, Kennedy will certainly decline this penalty, you would
Foul.
think.
Offense, number 2, contact to the head.
Oh.
That penalty declined. It'll be 4th down.
Well, it wasn't a hold, but you could guess on where that flag was thrown. There was really only one possibility.
Yeah, it was over here. I didn't know if it was contact to the head or holding or what. I just saw the flag come in. I was watching the ball.
So punting time now for the Patriots.
Yeah, their first game against Roosevelt, Minneapolis Roosevelt, was the one that was canceled. And then that game against Edison, they were in it all the way up until the very end. They only lost by 2. So
here's the kick. Should be good field position. Short kick. Takes a nice Patrick Henry bounce. 37-yard punt, no return. But Kennedy will start near midfield.
And we'll see who they send out here.
It will be Zesh.
And it
They've
looks
taken out many of the starters, though.
Yeah, I think smart play there. Get Zesh maybe a couple more reps in here.
During the kick, personal foul. Receiving team, number 2, face mask. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed from the end of the kick. First down, Kennedy.
So they won't start there, Josh. I guess they will back it up there, start about the 29, I think, 28, something like that.
So the night likely done for guys like Christopher Martin, Lee Anthony Wright Ponder, Marquez, Ray Jean. You might still see Martin punt if Kennedy needs to do that the rest of the way.
Yeah, because I don't know if they have any other kickers on the team. And it'd be interesting with a sore ankle that he had in that first couple of drives.
Roman Hauk almost looked like he didn't get the handoff on the first try, reached back and then got it.
Yeah, you almost wonder if maybe you thought Zesh was going to pull it back and he thought Zesh was going to pull it back.
4-yard carry for Roman Hauk. And see him on the hockey ice.
That'll be starting
just
up here in a couple weeks, yeah.
Talked to Mike Terwilliger, Jefferson boys hockey head coach, yesterday on Inside Jefferson Football. Hard to believe it's already almost that time of year, but those fall sports get into that spring or the winter sports very quickly. Here's Roman Hauk having more success here. Going to pick up a first down and more out to the 42-yard line. As the Eagles move the chains again.
You know, if you're Coach Williams, you like to see this. You got another, almost a 4th back that you could use in any type of situation.
Normally it might be Eric Johnson getting these carries and not dressed tonight. We also have not seen Javon Davis. Zach Zesh from the pistol. Hands it off. Big space for Roman Hauk to run. Spun down at the 48.
Again, another big run there by Hauk.
Kennedy a little bit banged up at the running back spot, and why not trust one of your seniors here to give you a little work when you need some guys to stay healthy heading toward next Tuesday.
Roman Hauk, 5'6", 130 pounds, listed as a receiver and a defensive back.
Clock under 2 minutes left, third quarter. Is Sam Saxey in motion. He'll get the pop pass and try to cut it upfield, and he's whirled down by Siren White just on the Patrick Henry side of midfield. Slow to get up. Sam Saxey, he was banged up a couple weeks ago, remember.
Officials timeout for an injured offensive player.
Very much on, you wonder if maybe the footing got stuck there at the end, or if it just, you know, with it being cold, it stings a little bit, but he's still slow to get up. Still slow to get up and down on the ground there, but we'll see what happens here. And Josh, I think we have another spotlight. Who are we doing this time?
Yeah, well, let's wait till we get Sam Saxey up here as they're looking at him. But Coach K out to check on his senior.
That's the one thing I think a lot of these players love about Coach K is, you know, anytime there's an injury or anything, he's one of the first people out there to make sure that the player's okay. He's doing whatever he can to make sure that they can get off the field and they're going to be fine, and maybe a little bit of reassurance there.
So that's good to see there from Toby. Let's get into our senior spotlight. It's Luke Dozian, number 83, another hockey guy for Kennedy. There he is with his mom and dad. His mom was a terrific athlete for Kennedy in their Eagle Hall of Fame for athletics. 6'5", 215. Luke Kuechly is his favorite football player. Favorite coach on the team, he says all of them, hard to decide. Interstellar is his favorite movie. His favorite football memory says Coach K helping him learn everything he knows. He respects Christopher Martin most on the team. He's going to go to college next year and has, of course, something interesting about Luke, his twin brother Logan, who we'll also see playing hockey for Kennedy.
Dead ball foul, false start, offense, number 56. 5 yards from the previous spot, remains third down.
So instead of 3rd and 1, 3rd and 6.
So a little bit longer for Kennedy to go, but, you know, I think where you're at in the game, you got the clock going right now. It's, you know, just try to keep the clock moving. And
yeah, this is where Kennedy wanted to be about an hour and a half ago, with a huge lead and resting some guys. Meanwhile, Roman Hauk is doing the damage. First down and more. Got the penalty yards back and then some.
Exactly, Roman Hauk, right up the middle, breaks one tackle right there, and then...
Yeah, they got his towel. That was about it on that first wave.
And then Devin Mabone coming in, making the big tackle at the very end there, saving possibly a touchdown.
So the drive continues. It's been all on the ground here to Roman Hauk on this drive. Likely the final play of the third quarter. Villas Rizzo in motion for the second time. To throw, Zach Zesch. Shot over the middle, caught!
That's
into
Dozian.
the end zone, it's Luke Dozian for the touchdown! Third senior getting his first career touchdown in this game.
It's his third game as a player,
Play is
too.
a touchdown. Number 60 for Kennedy needs to come off the field for one play due to his helmet being off.
So we just talked about Luke Dozian on the senior spotlight. Not sure if Kennedy coaches heard us, but they dialed up a beauty here.
Wide open. Big frame there, right center of the field, and
shows you the wheels at the end too, by the way, for Luke. He wasn't about to be caught with a chance to get into the end zone for the first time.
I don't blame him. I would do the same thing too, and gonna try to kick it here.
Bad snap, it's blown up, and Zesch got blown up as well. That also means it'll be running time to start the fourth quarter with a 35-point differential.
Again, something that Kennedy is never, they're not on the side of the leading when that happens.
Another look Luke Dozian able to get into the end zone for the first time on senior night.
Right there on that left side and all the way up, and then a nice little block there by David Aviles Rizzo. The junior making sure the senior gets in.
We saw this last year too with Jesse Falk, remember, and some other Kennedy seniors on senior night able to make some plays. Coach K and staff dialing up plays specifically for them. And Kennedy has a talented enough team where they can kind of control that narrative of who gets the ball and when, and they have the luxury in this game of calling up on some of those plays because they're not in a meat grinder of a 1 or a 2 score game here.
Exactly. But then you can keep those plays for, you know, one of those meat grinder games where you can get them the ball and maybe get an extra score late in the game on a play that they don't see a lot.
Return here for the Patriots. Out near the 40 goes Zaire Jennings on the final play of the third quarter.
Is the end of the third quarter.
And that ball was actually bobbled a little bit at the start, so glad he was able to pick it up and, you know, try to make something out of nothing that he had there.
Well, how about another senior spotlight for Kennedy from one defensive lineman and Luke Dozian to another. Of course, we just saw Luke catch a touchdown pass as a tight end, but there's Christopher Martin, punter, defensive end, 6'5", goes Chris. Terrific basketball player, as we'll see this winter. His favorite football player, Larry Fitzgerald. How about his favorite food, Paul? Celery.
That's an interesting food. I like it.
A lot of uses there. Coach Robinson, the defensive coordinator's favorite coach on the team. His favorite football memory and moment, beating Richfield at their house last year. His player he most respects on the team is Luke Dozian. Goals for the season, wants to get to 500.
And got
I think it's a pretty safe bet at this point.
Very much so, and it's a very. I like how some of these players, you know, they're getting realistic goals. You know, you're not going to go win a state championship on a turnaround year with great teams like Chaska and Chanhassen, but you're able to you know, maybe make it to 500 or win your division or district, and that's what some of these players are doing. They're doing it this year. Something
interesting about Christopher Martin is Kennedy thinks they have the ball. They do. There's a flag down in the defensive backfield for Kennedy. We'll get to that interesting
Illegal
fact.
participation, defense, 12 players in formation. 15 yards from the previous spot, going to result in a first down.
Are we sure that's a 15-yard penalty? 12 men on the field? I've never seen that be a 15-yard penalty before.
Let's see here.
We'll
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see 11 people on that shot, Josh, unless I'm missing somebody.
There, is that a 12th guy behind Rajon Walker?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It does look like there was 12. Correctly called. I don't know that. I think they changed it here to just a 5-yard penalty. But back to Christopher Martin. Something interesting with him. He says he's left-handed, Paul, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Because he punts right-footed, right? We've seen that all year. And shoots right-handed in basketball.
Yeah. So.
And as a guy, I'm kind of that way a little bit, Paul. I right-left and do pretty much everything else about right-handed. I can identify with
very
little
good.
ambidexterity for Christopher Martin. There he is, number 84. So the Patriots have it in Kennedy territory for only the second time tonight. 2nd and 3. Just over 10 minutes left. Here's an option pitch to Newman Thomas. There's a flag down right at the 40 where the tackle was made.
If they call it a horse collar, and Kennedy's going to get a penalty.
How about the 3 guys in the screen there? I would usher these guys off the field immediately, Paul.
Yeah.
5, 23, and 84.
Yeah, you don't need all 3 of them.
Let's please find them a nice spot on the bench here.
Yeah. Get them a coat, get them on the bench. They don't need to be there, but Kennedy's head coach is going to get a 15 as well.
Horse collar tackle,
That's a
defense. 15 yards added to the end of the run. After the play, sideline warning on Kennedy. That's their second warning of the game. That will be a 5-yard penalty as well.
I will say that was it's interesting that they called that a horse collar tackle, Josh.
And that might go back to that earlier play in the game. Remember when White Sledge was hurt on where he was body slammed to the ground and there was no penalty there.
DJ Vang or KG Vang. But yeah, he kind of slides and the hand just kind of slides up to his back. But there's been a couple calls like that they haven't called all game.
The hand was in that area, Paul, but it didn't really do anything.
He was already on the way down. That's why I thought maybe they wouldn't call it. And
maybe a makeup call for that previous one that probably should have been a penalty.
Yeah.
In any event, I'd still like some of these Kennedy players to
they don't need to
go
be out
toward
there.
the sidelines. And maybe Kennedy trying to preserve the shutout here, not sure. They drive back. Marquez Monroe then gets pushed.
Marquez Monroe is one of those guys you got to be careful. He likes to talk a lot, and he will play very hard all the way through, but sometimes his emotions get the best of him there. I mean, he played through the whistle. I mean, the whistle doesn't come in. He gets to stop there, and then the whistle, I think, is right there, right as they were starting to go down. And so I am still surprised that they have them out there. But
2nd and 7.
And that's what we saw last week as they played, or a couple weeks ago, they didn't hear a whistle, and then all of a sudden they got 15-yard penalties.
White Sledge lofts it toward the end zone. Player slipped and was out of bounds. Now another flag.
And I think they're going to call pass interference.
Avilas Rizzo was over there.
If they call pass interference here, I don't know, because he slid out at about the 11, and the ball was thrown to the back corner of the end zone.
Well, I think it might be a penalty pushing him out of bounds would be my guess.
I didn't see him get shoved out of bounds. I saw him just fall.
Certainly looked like contact there.
Yeah.
By David Avilas Rizzo.
Interference. Defense number 2. That foul will be assessed half the distance to the goal, results in a first down.
Coach Williams with the headset in his hand and is going to try to get an explanation. I mean, they haven't called things like that all game. There's been good shoving battles all the way through, and all of a sudden, 6:55 to go, and they're calling things like that. But again, you still have, Chris Martin out there, Luke Dozian, Marquez Monroe.
Again, it's running time. There's not a lot of plays left in this game. I know you maybe want to take that shutout into next week, but boy, you lose one of your top guys here, and that they might be able to beat Two Rivers without a couple guys, but have a chance against Hastings. They need a full complement of healthy players.
Yes, they do.
Here's White Sledge. Going to go backward.
And Marquez Monroe.
They want another horse collar on the sideline.
And they're not going to get that one. But I think they heads up play there by the teammates there, like Alex Lynch there. Alex Lynch to walk in and just pull him right out of the play. He doesn't need to be in there after the tackle's made, doing anything. See the tackle's there.
Timeout, Kennedy. Their first charge, timeout of the half.
And then Rajon Walker and those guys just kind of pull them all out, and Kennedy calling the timeout here probably to, give their team a little bit of a breather here.
That will stop the clock. The timeout does. Gives us time. We got 2 more Kennedy Senior spotlights. How about Lee Anthony Wright Ponder? There he is with his family, including one of his sisters right there. 6'5", 203 pounds. Tom Brady, his favorite football player. Favorite food, Chipotle. His favorite coach on the team is the head coach, Kedrick Williams. Plans for next year, not really sure yet. He says he's got a lot of options, as so many do this time of year. His goals for the season: be a great teammate, stay positive no matter what happens. Player he most respects on the team. He says Chris Martin, hands down. His favorite football memory, now he listed it as when Zach threw a 50-yard pass to me against Mountain West Tonka. I would guess that punt return becomes his new favorite football moment that he had earlier this year. There he is, Lee Anthony Wright Ponder. 2nd and goal as this pass tipped up and nearly caught. It should have been picked.
And then caught for a touchdown.
It also should have been caught. And it goes as just a harmless incomplete pass. Jalen Stearns had a golden opportunity at it. As did, I believe, it was either Alex Lynch or David Aviles Rizzo, who should have come down with it for Kennedy. Now 3rd down and goal from the 15. Clock, as you see, back to running time, even with that incomplete pass, as Kennedy leading by more than 35 points in the 4th quarter. Stick around on the post-game show. We'll have some highlights. We'll get you caught up on some scores, including hopefully an update on that Apple Valley Ironton game that Jefferson fans are hoping goes their way for a home game next Tuesday.
Right now, I'm not having much luck getting a score update.
3rd and goal as that's tipped up, incomplete. And now the Eagles shutout here, just one play away from likely happening.
You know, I think that's something that a couple times they were talking about earlier in the year. They wanted to get that shutout, and then, a couple of weird plays happen, and all of a sudden the other team gets a touchdown or some point of some sort.
Well, they did shut out Washburn earlier this year, 40-0. And again, with the running time, this is probably the last chance to get on the board tonight for Patrick Henry. Some confusion in the backfield. KG Vang finally goes out wide. 4th and goal. Have to wait a little bit longer.
Patrick Henry, their first charge time out of the half.
So let's get to our final senior spot. We kind of teased it a little bit earlier as our sheet came in a little bit late. There he is, Eric Johnson. Now he's not dressed, as you can see tonight, wearing the jersey but no pads. Alvin Kamara is his favorite football player. Nachos his favorite food, and his favorite coach, he's standing right next to him right there, Coach K. His favorite movie is the movie Friday. His player he respects most on the team, he says his brother, Marquez Monroe. Plans for next year, college football, not sure where yet. Something interesting about Eric Johnson, he says he loves to rap. Hopefully they can get him back and healthy for the postseason, Eric Johnson. Final senior spotlight, Paul. We did it.
We did it, Josh.
Jefferson finished up last week. Kennedy this week. Thanks to all of the seniors on both teams for giving us some content and sharing some things about themselves this year. To all the fans and parents out there watching.
Congratulations on a great football career as that comes to an end here.
Here's 4th down, and they're not going to get it off. Kennedy's going to take over, regardless of who recovers. White Sledge has the ball, but it does not matter as Kennedy will take over, and that shutout will come to fruition, it looks like.
And, Josh, we were wrong. The rain is starting to fall a little bit, just a mist. So,
well, I think if we had asked Coach K and Coach C last night, if they would have taken barely a mist in terms of the amount of precipitation during the game, they would have gladly taken that.
Yeah.
Kennedy's going to end this regular season at 4-4. Not something to gloss over quickly, Paul. This hasn't happened for Kennedy, 4 wins in a regular season since 2007.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and they got a special group of kids here right now. And they're looking to make it 5, maybe 6 wins coming up in the next couple of weeks. But they got to make it to 4 first, healthy, and then they got to make it to 5.
Roman Hauk.
And there's a weird play there. I'm surprised there's not going to be a penalty called
Runners
here.
forward progress was stopped before the ball came out. 2nd down.
There's a Patrick Henry player. There's a defender on the ground, and then a Patrick Henry player just jumps on him.
I did not see that.
Right? Oh, it gets shoved over him. Okay. Oh, right there.
Oh, my goodness. I did not see that at first glance.
I thought it was away from the ball. I didn't realize how close to it was. Also, Jefferson was down 49-0.
Nope.
But on the bright side, Irondale did beat Apple Valley 21-0. And that game went final, so
Jefferson will host a home playoff game, as will Kennedy. We're gonna have our first ever football doubleheader.
That's something you don't hear about,
How about
a lot.
that? Next Tuesday.
It'll be exciting times here at Bloomington Stadium.
4 o'clock, it'll be Jefferson and Apple Valley in a rematch of a terrific game from earlier this year. And then Kennedy in prime time. They'll be heavy favorites against Two Rivers, of course, formerly Henry Sibley High School out in Mendota Heights, without a win this year. Wouldn't it be something if we could go 2 for 2 in the postseason next week on BEC-TV?
That would be one thing.
Because of the early game in the week next Tuesday, no inside football. We'll recap the first round of the playoffs, hopefully a couple of wins with the coaches between the first and second round.
Correct. We'll do it on Thursday afternoon, or Thursday night.
Senior night for Kennedy. You can see the score right there. About as good of a senior night as you would want. Kennedy takes the lead in the first minute of the game, Paul, and they never looked back. 39-0 the final.
Yeah, never looked back. They kept their foot on the throttle. They knew they could win this game. They didn't want to have what happened against De La Salle, and they were able to come all the way through with a victory here. They were able to also stay healthy, which is the other big key that they needed to do tonight.
Kennedy 4 wins for the first time since 2007. Co-district champs of the Twin Cities Silver. What a regular season for Kennedy, and rewarded with a home playoff game next Tuesday as the number 3 seed in the section. Congratulations to Coach K and the Kennedy Eagles. They left no doubt tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. They played all the way through. A sound game. They made a couple, small errors that they can, look back and fix pretty easily. And, MEA break for a lot of these, for Kennedy in the past used to be, all right, well, here's the last game of the regular season. We get a week or a couple days off, and then we'll just go out and, be ready for the first game of the playoffs. And this year we got to be ready for the first game and for sure the second game, because we have a chance to do some special things right now.
Yeah, if they win on Tuesday, they will face Hastings in the second round. But great night for Kennedy, led wire to wire. Most importantly, we think Kennedy avoided any further injuries in this game, as well as it's a chance for the Eagles to celebrate. With the inclement weather, at least the threat of it, a little bit less of a student section than we saw a couple of games ago, but the fans who were here certainly treated to a good one for the home team.
Very much so. And, for a rainy night, the fans all came out, and they supported this team all the way through. And that's something that we haven't seen from a lot of Kennedy fans in the past. That they're up and gone by halftime, and they're sticking through these games. They're all coming out to the games. And we're going to take a listen to the Kennedy team here sing the school song in the band.
All right, so Kennedy finishes the regular season 4-4. Minneapolis Patrick Henry finishes 0-7. Coach K beats his alma mater convincingly. They could have used a few Coach K's as a player on the field, but certainly better days ahead for the Patriots as they will look ahead toward their postseason next week as well. Plenty more to come in the postgame. We'll have highlights, some final thoughts, and we'll set the stage for a big doubleheader of football next Tuesday. There's your final. Kennedy 39-0. Back in a moment on BEC-TV.
Myth. I can party with people as long as they don't have symptoms. That myth is false. As we've seen, up to 40% of people who have COVID-19 are asymptomatic and can pass it on to others. So I'd recommend avoiding any social parties, especially indoor ones. If you want to try to socialize but reduce your risk, I'd recommend meeting outside in small groups, continuing to wear a mask, and socially distancing from others if you can. Then together, we can keep COVID-19 out of school.
For ways to keep your community safe, go to backtoschooltogether.com.
$39-0 the final as Kennedy wins it convincingly in the regular season finale against Minneapolis Patrick Henry. The Eagles now 4-4 on the season, and they have a home playoff date next Tuesday against Two Rivers. Welcome into the postgame here, BEC-TV, Paul Fortier, Josh Powers. Paul, Kennedy, they wanted to avoid what happened against De La Salle and Richfield. Certainly, those two teams probably a step up from what we saw tonight, but in a game that Kennedy felt like they could win and maybe should win, right from the opening kickoff, they left no doubt in this one.
Yeah, they didn't want to leave any doubt. They came out, they scored, they get a couple weird bounces to go their way in the game. You know, we saw De La Salle, the bounce doesn't go their way. Richfield, the bounce doesn't go their way. And they finally get that to go their way. They beat a team that they should have beaten, and they, do it very soundly.
Yeah, in all three phases for Kennedy, certainly defense, pitching, a shutout. You score 39 points in offense, and you mix in some special teams plays, including a touchdown. A fun game for Kennedy. And really, we look at the keys to the game, ball security, no turnovers for Kennedy. Keep everybody healthy. They certainly did that. Really, it was just, you couldn't have gone better for Kennedy in these last 2 hours.
Yeah, it couldn't have gone any better. I mean, the only thing that could have been was, maybe the Two Rivers bus, breaks down. They can't come on. Hastings bus breaks down. They can't come. That'd be the only thing that could have gotten better for them. But, yeah, they do everything right. They got a couple silly penalties, a couple, personnel penalties. They can look at the film. They can fix that in a couple days. They did everything right. They got to work on a little bit of passing. That's the one weak spot that could hurt them come playoffs.
Yeah, they really didn't need to throw in this game. The running game was certainly effective, well over 200 yards rushing for Kennedy as a team. Let's look at the highlights from this one and plenty of plays that we'll recap in about a week and a half on Inside Kennedy Football, hopefully recapping a playoff win. Early on, Patrick Henry, they had a couple drives. This is their second half highlights. Marquez Monroe hit with a flag there, and then Kennedy ground game was strong, and it was really Roman Hauk in the second half doing the job for them as you watch Roman here. Great moment getting into the end zone.
Yeah, great moment. Senior night. He's a senior. He finally uses all 5'6" of his frame there, gets into the end zone. He was making plays on defense all night long and finally was able to get a couple offensive plays as you try to call in the first half, and he gets the ball and he does everything, does it very special in the second half and gets that touchdown.
More there from Hauk, as you saw Christopher Martin in the defense was strong all game. And then how about another Eagle getting his first touchdown, Luke Dozian.
Luke Dozian, third game in as an Eagle, and Coach K says, we're going to get you a touchdown here. I think the only person that was disappointed was Chris Martin because he was so close to getting that touchdown and couldn't get it, but he does a great job on defense all around.
See the failed fourth down conversion. Kennedy able to run out the clock as it was running time all during the fourth quarter with the Eagles having that big advantage. Well, it sets up the stage, Paul. I mean, things on the scoreboard went Jefferson's way tonight. We saw Irondale defeat Apple Valley. That means the Jaguars get a home playoff game. Kennedy doing their part. They also get a home playoff game. We have unprecedented doubleheader next Tuesday.
Very much so. We haven't seen that in Bloomington ever, we don't think. And, those are two games that both teams should win. Apple Valley played Jefferson earlier as a missed field goal, and some weird time management in the fourth quarter there that somehow almost brought Apple Valley back to win, and then they missed the field goal. And then Kennedy's going to get the prime time 7 o'clock game against Two Rivers, a team that I don't think Kennedy's ever played, and that's something that's new this year. Kennedy's had 3 teams they've never ever played before in the past, so it'll be fun to see what they can do against Two Rivers coming in from Mendota Heights, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we can play on Saturday.
Before we go, Paul, I know you wanted to give a special shout out to one of the BEC-TV crew members, so here's your time to do that.
Yes, Zach Vasura is one of our engineers. He started as a volunteer tech, does a lot of things. He's built some of our graphics packages. You watch any of our swimming broadcasts, he produced most of them last year, almost all of them this year. The Olympic-like graphic packages with the lanes and pulling the information. He was the one that somehow managed to pull all the information from the scoreboards into our production truck. So he's going to be heading off to Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, somewhere out that way, in the next couple of weeks. And he's going to be missed, and we want to make sure that he gets a proper shout-out. So, Zach, we're going to miss you, and we want to thank you for your time here at BEC.
Well, I have the easy job, Paul. What you do as part of the crew, part of the broadcast, and so many of our crew members here, a volunteer student crew, and everyone behind BEC-TV, led by Tom Ringdahl. Great job. As always, Zach, certainly you will be missed. But to wrap this one, a great senior night for Kennedy, 39-0. They win it here, and that sets up a big doubleheader that we'll have for you on BEC-TV at 4 o'clock next Tuesday, Jefferson and Apple Valley, and then Kennedy and Two Rivers at 7 o'clock, an unprecedented doubleheader of football playoff action. We cannot wait for it. But again, our final on senior night, Kennedy 39, and Minneapolis Patrick Henry, 0. For our entire crew, for Paul Fournier, this is Josh Powers saying good night from Bloomington Stadium.